What if the Kohinoor diamond still shone brightly in India? What if the destiny of a nation remained firmly in its own hands? This is the story of an India untouched by the heavy hand of British colonialism. A story of resilience, innovation, and a vibrant tapestry of cultures. A journey into what could have been. Before the East India Company set foot on Indian soil, India was a land of immense wealth and cultural brilliance. The subcontinent was a mosaic of kingdoms, each with its own unique traditions, languages, and customs. The diversity was not just in culture, but also in the natural landscape, from the snow-capped Himalayas in the north to the tropical beaches in the south. The Indian Ocean, which bordered the southern coast, was a bustling maritime route that connected India to the rest of the world. The wealth of India was legendary, attracting traders, explorers, and invaders alike. Gold, spices, textiles, and precious stones were just a few of the treasures that flowed from Indian markets. Traditional Indian cultural activities such as dance and festivals showcased the rich heritage and artistic prowess of the people. These cultural expressions were not just forms of entertainment, but were deeply intertwined with the social and religious fabric of the society. The Mughal Empire, though in decline, still held sway over vast territories. The Mughals had left an indelible mark on the Indian subcontinent with their contributions to art, architecture, and administration. The empire was a melting pot of cultures, where Persian, Indian, and Central Asian influences blended seamlessly. The Mughal court was a hub of intellectual and artistic activity, attracting scholars, poets, and artists from across the region. From the intricate architecture of Fatehpur Sikri, which stood as a testament to the Mughals' architectural genius, to the grand forts and palaces that dotted the landscape, the Mughal influence was unmistakable. Fatehpur Sikri, with its red sandstone buildings and elaborate carvings, was a city that epitomized the grandeur and sophistication of the Mughal era. The bustling trading ports of Surat and Calicut were gateways to the world. These ports were teeming with activity as merchants from Arabia, Persia, Africa, and Europe came to trade. The exchange of goods was not just limited to material items, it also included the exchange of ideas, technologies, and cultures. The ports were melting pots where different civilizations met and interacted, contributing to the cosmopolitan nature of Indian society. It was a society built on ancient wisdom, a land of philosophers, mathematicians, and astronomers. Indian scholars made significant contributions to various fields of knowledge, including mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and literature. The concept of zero, the decimal system, and significant advancements in algebra and trigonometry were all gifts from Indian mathematicians to the world. Philosophers engaged in profound discussions on metaphysics, ethics, and the nature of existence, laying the foundations for various schools of thought that would influence generations to come. The British saw India as the jewel in the crown, a source of raw materials and a captive market for their goods. Imagine an India free from this economic exploitation. Without the drain of resources, India's own industrial revolution might have blossomed earlier and on its own terms. Indian industries like textiles and shipbuilding suppressed under British rule could have flourished, making India a global economic powerhouse. The British Raj unified India under a single administration, but at a cost. It sowed the seeds of division that ultimately led to the tragic partition of 1947. A free India might have seen a different political trajectory. Perhaps a confederation of states, each with its own distinct identity, or a unified nation bound by shared heritage. The possibilities are endless. Section 5, Social Structures, Evolution without Imposition. British rule brought about significant social changes in India, some beneficial, others not. The caste system, a deeply entrenched social hierarchy, might have evolved differently without British interference. Could an independent India have addressed social inequalities more effectively, fostering a more just and equitable society? The answers lie hidden in the corridors of an alternate history. Section 6, Cultural Continuity and Artistic Flourishing. India's cultural landscape, rich and diverse, faced challenges under British rule. The British colonial period brought about significant changes, impacting various aspects of Indian society. The imposition of foreign rule meant that many traditional practices were either suppressed or altered to fit the colonial agenda. Despite these challenges, the spirit of Indian culture remained resilient. The streets of India, even under British rule, were alive with the sounds, colors, and rhythms of its rich heritage. Cultural figures of the time played a crucial role in preserving and promoting Indian traditions, ensuring that the essence of India was not lost. The imposition of English language in Western education systems threatened to overshadow indigenous knowledge systems. British-style education was introduced, and with it came a new way of thinking and learning. Indian students, dressed in Western-style uniforms, attended schools that taught them about British history, literature, and science. While this education system opened up new opportunities, it also posed a risk to the traditional Indian ways of learning. The rich tapestry of indigenous knowledge, passed down through generations, faced the threat of being overshadowed by Western ideals. Imagine an India where ancient traditions of learning, like the Gurukul system, continued to thrive. In these traditional settings, students learned not just academic subjects but also values, ethics, and life skills. The Gurukul system emphasized holistic education, where the bond between the teacher and the student was sacred. This method of learning fostered a deep connection to Indian culture and traditions, ensuring that the knowledge passed down was not just theoretical, but also practical and spiritual. Where languages like Sanskrit and Tamil flourished alongside English, these ancient languages, rich in literature and philosophy, continued to be studied and revered. Manuscripts written in these languages were not just historical artifacts, but living documents that connected the present to the past. People read and wrote in Sanskrit and Tamil, keeping the languages alive and vibrant. The coexistence of these languages with English created a unique linguistic landscape where tradition and modernity walked hand in hand. A world where the artistic brilliance of Indian dance, music, and literature remained undiluted. Classical dance performances with their intricate movements and expressive storytelling captivated audiences. Traditional music concerts echoed with the sounds of ancient instruments, creating melodies that transcended time. Literature and poetry reading events celebrated the works of Indian writers whose words painted vivid pictures of the country's soul. In this world, the arts were not just forms of entertainment, but powerful expressions of India's cultural identity, continuing to inspire and unite people across generations. Section 7: India on the World Stage, a New Game. The geopolitical landscape of the 20th century was shaped by the dynamics of empires. An uncolonized India would have been a significant player in this global chess game. Perhaps it would have forged alliances with other emerging nations, challenging the existing world order. India's strategic location and resources would have made it a coveted ally. Section 8: A World Transformed Ripples of an Uncolonized India. The butterfly effect of an uncolonized India would have been felt far and wide. Imagine a world where the subcontinent, rich in culture and resources, was never subjected to the yoke of colonial rule. The ripple effects of such a scenario would have been profound, altering the course of history in ways we can only begin to fathom. The British Empire, deprived of its jewel, might have declined sooner. Without the vast resources and strategic advantages provided by India, the British might have struggled to maintain their global dominance. The economic and political ramifications would have been immense, potentially leading to a much earlier dissolution of the empire. The struggle against colonialism in other parts of the world might have been emboldened by India's example. Nations across Asia, Africa, and Latin America could have drawn inspiration from an uncolonized India, fueling their own fights for freedom and self-determination. The global landscape of the 20th century might have been radically different, with a wave of early independence movements reshaping international relations. A world where India stood tall, free, and independent is a world full of tantalizing possibilities. Economically, India could have developed at its own pace, potentially becoming a major global power much earlier. Culturally, the preservation and evolution of its diverse traditions might have influenced global art, music, and literature in unique ways. Politically, an uncolonized India could have played a pivotal role in shaping international policies and alliances, advocating for peace and cooperation. The vision of an uncolonized India is not just a historical curiosity, it is a reminder of the resilience and potential of nations to forge their own paths, free from external domination. Section 9: A Call to Imagine. The story of an uncolonized India is a journey into the realm of what-ifs. It is a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of culture and identity. It is an invitation to imagine a world where the course of history took a different turn, a world brimming with possibilities. Please like, share, and subscribe for more alternate history content.